All right, welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe, and this morning we want to talk about a growing health concern that is often overlooked, and that is myopia. And we want to just reference it to technology, how technology does affect our eyes. And of course, to help us with this conversation, we have Bradley Heslop. That is a co-CEO from Dot Glasses International, and Pfizer Sider, an optometrist, right, at Dot Glasses Kenya. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I just want us to start from this point, Pfizer. You know, optometrist, we don't hear much about this. Is there really a difference between an optometrist and an optician?
Yes, correct. When it comes to the eye sector, there are different eye care practitioners.
Yeah.
So we're used to the opticians, we're used to the other people, but yes, an optometrist is an eye care practitioner who deals with spectacle correction. And when we talk about spectacle correction, I mean the vision part of correction. And other than that, an optometrist also can manage and also can diagnose diseases.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for clearing the air and letting us know what you do. But you know, when you talk about myopia, this is something that in the country we don't talk much about, short-sightedness. And looking at the broader picture, the WHO predicts that by the year 2050, there is a possibility that we will have very, very high rates of myopia in the world, you know. And when we look at, now when you're talking about Kenya not really talking much about myopia, do you think we are underestimating what myopia really is as a nation?
Yeah, definitely we're doing that because with the recent numbers right now, the cases of myopia are rising. So as a country, we need to at least put in input to correct myopia because it starts from an early age. Meaning the quality of life for these people is changing. So that's where we come in as Dot Glasses now to bridge that gap. Yes.
Maybe you could share with us the numbers, because Pfizer is talking about the numbers are rising now when we're talking about myopia cases in the country. From where you sit as Dot Glass Kenya, and you're saying you are coming in to bridge this gap in regards to myopia and really just tech in general. What numbers are we looking at nationally when we talk about myopia?
Yeah, so myopia is one of the fastest growing eye care issues in the world. So you mentioned the data from the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
They estimate that by 2050, half of the world's population will have myopic issues. And so in Kenya, there's already around 5 million people who need glasses for correcting their vision. The vast majority of that is presbyopia, which is age-related. Myopia will make up around 10% of that, depending on where you are in the country. But that number is rapidly growing due to lifestyle factors and the way we're not really looking after our eyes.
So from where you sit, Pfizer, how is technology really just contributing to this? Or we should just go back and start from what myopia really is. We know it as short-sightedness, but we also know about hyperopia. We've heard of the one which I don't know, it affects the aging or the aging muscle of the eye. What is it called?
Presbyopia.
Presbyopia, that's the word. We've heard of presbyopia, we have hyperopia, and we have myopia. Maybe just now break it down for us what each one is.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is what I like. So we do have the different conditions that you've mentioned. We categorize them into what you call refractive errors. You can be able to see, but the clarity is not there, blurred vision. So we talk about myopia, which is short-sightedness or nearsightedness. You're comfortable with things that are nearby. But when it comes to things that are far away, it's a bit struggle. Then you have what you call hyperopia. It's the exact opposite of myopia. Things that are far away, you're comfortable, but things that are nearby, you struggle a bit. Then we talk about what you call presbyopia. You are correct. Loss of vision due to age. At least 50% of people above the age of 40 years, you'll notice our grandparents at home, if they're reading like this, they try to push things. Then we have another eye condition that we call astigmatism. So you have blurred vision, both distance and near vision. So as Dot Glasses, we do provide lenses for those conditions.
And when you talk about now, we have, you said that there are old people who just put it here to try and get it from this angle, you know. Now, how is technology affecting each of this? Or is it just for myopia that tech really affects it? Because we're looking at how, not necessarily screen time, but how we, the length at which we have the screen materials, you know, the phone, the tablets. How is technology affecting this thing?
Mostly myopia is the one that is mostly affected when it comes to the technology part. Reason being, for myopia is this caused by the shape of the eye is altered, so the light does not focus where it's supposed to focus. There's a part in the eye that you call the retina. So the light does not focus on the retina. You become myopic. And some of the causes of myopics is excess usage of gadgets, a lot of near work, all those blue lights emitted from gadgets and so on. So when it comes to the refractive errors, the main eye condition that mostly is affected by all these things is myopia. Yes.
Bradley, there could be this concern. Does myopia feel painful, you know? Is it painful, or what exactly does it feel like?
It's not painful. I describe it as uncomfortable at times. So of course, myopia sets in when you're young. A lot of people think glasses are for those who are of an older age, but that's not correct. Glasses are for people of all ages, and it can set in when you're very young. It can set in when you're in your teens. Eye issues can start developing at any stage of life, depending on the type of eye issue. And so this is something which is not painful, but when you're looking at things that are blurry for a period of time, it can cause some discomfort. You can often hear people complaining about their eyes are watering, they have headaches, they're tilting their heads, and all of these things are indications that someone might need glasses. They're not guaranteed, but these are indicators that if someone is really squinting to see, all of these things put strain on your eyes. And there are also some rumors around that glasses damage your eyesight, and people are scared of wearing glasses as a result. This is not true. So what people have is that they don't see people getting better. A lot of people think glasses should be a solution to your problem, a permanent solution, which they're not. They're a wearable tool that corrects the vision issue with the light. So it allows you to see properly. It doesn't change your eyes in that way. And so when you're not wearing glasses, that continued strain on your eyes can help your myopia to develop a bit faster. If you wear glasses, it allows your body to relax, your eyes to relax. And so that relaxation can help to reduce some of the progression speed of things like myopia. So actually wearing glasses is a benefit in all ways, shape and form, both to the person and to the economy.
What to the person and to the economy? How does it help the economy if I am the one spending money to get these glasses and to correct my eyes?
So what people don't really acknowledge, but if I'd say it to you, it would make sense. 70 to 80% of the way we interact with the world is through our eyes. So if you imagine if that is somehow compromised, how are you supposed to interact? How are you supposed to learn? How are you supposed to do your job properly? How are you supposed to drive a vehicle? Some of the statistics are alarming around the prevalence of eye issues and the lack of people with a solution. And so the global cost to the economy is $250 billion a year. So you can just imagine the cost to the Kenyan economy alone from people not wearing glasses. And we've done some research for an organization, and we worked out the cost of our glasses, the number of workers they had in their farm, and they were looking at, okay, what happens if we give people glasses? And we found that if they bought glasses, our glasses, for every single worker, even their dependents and everybody else, they would still get a return on their investment in less than a month. And in fact, if you just look at the worker alone, we calculated it was about 4 or 5 days for them to get a return on their investment. There's nothing else that comes even close to that kind of economic impact, as well as quality of life impact on an individual. Like the two things are married. There's no separation, there's no businesses trying to do this and it's not helping the people. No, the two things are intrinsically linked. You help the people and it helps the business. So there's no argument around should we give people glasses? It's yes, we should. And they shouldn't be subject to some of the taxes and other things that affect them. But that's a separate issue. This is more around businesses. What can they be doing to help their people get glasses? Every driver should be tested. Every factory worker should be tested. And they shouldn't be worried that they might lose their jobs as a result of wearing glasses. because that's not a thing. People, I've heard of border riders who take off their glasses before they pick up someone because they're worried they'll lose customers as a result. No, people are more confident when you wear glasses. They know you're looking after your eyes. They trust that you know what you're doing. They have confidence in you. It's not the other way around. If you see someone wearing glasses, you know they're acting responsibly.
Yeah. But you know, Faiza, when you're talking about it does really impact the quality of life, you know, and you're looking at the business perspective where Bradley is talking about it also being beneficial to the economy as well. But not everyone has the luxury of affording or owning just glasses, you know. Now, what happens to them when we're talking about now they also have to look at their eyes? People are proud of you when you take care of your eyes, but not everyone can afford it.
Yeah, that's true. So we do have the primary care of just taking care of your eyes. First thing, let's start from a small child. Make sure your children get screened as early as possible, because the early you make the detection, the easier it is to manage. That's the first thing. Second, we do advise people who use gadgets a lot. There's something we call the 20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes that you're staring at your gadget, make sure you try focus on something that is like 6 meters or 6 meters away for like a few seconds, 20 seconds, and back. Other than that, make sure that if you have children, increase the amount of time that they spend outdoors. Because a lot of indoor time, a lot of time that these children tend to spend outside, it tends to cause myopia and also to increase the progression.
Is it about the
myopia.
screen time?
Of course, a lot of screen time. Also the type of lifestyle that we live right now. You can't avoid your child going to school. You can't avoid them spending a lot of time reading. But at any point, if you can reduce that, because a lot of near work. There's this story that people say that a lot of people who are smart in school, they tend to have
glasses.
Yes. It is because they spend a lot of near work. So those are the primary ways that you can avoid. But at the end of it, if your child or if as a person you're diagnosed with myopia, take that measure, use spectacles. Because with time, these eye conditions tend to progress. The more you delay using spectacles, the more it continues to progress. So at the end of the day, use your spectacles, take care of your eyes. Let's see clearly.
And I mentioned earlier that there's the economic impact of glasses.
Yeah.
So when people wear glasses, they benefit. So you're looking at the upfront cost, the cost of the travel, the cost of getting your glasses. Maybe you're not earning an income while you're doing that process, which is why we're trying to bring services as close to people as possible so they don't have a lot of that time and labor cost. But if you think about your own life, if you wear glasses, you benefit economically. A study was done showing that wearing glasses can increase income by 35% after only 8 months. That's not factoring in the impact on your education that also leads to an increased income.
But does it really not just show overdependence on it when now you get old and you cannot do without these glasses now that you started earlier at an early age to prevent myopia? Would it not now cause overdependence on these glasses?
That's not a thing. So I can see why people often use the word dependence, because they feel like once you wear glasses, you can't remove them and you can't live without them. But that's not exactly true. Once you start wearing glasses, you go from seeing in low quality, very grainy, blurry, to now seeing in IMAX. Everything is crystal clear. Why would you go back to seeing the other way? Most people, the vast majority of people who have eye issues, the issues are relatively small. So a lot of people don't even realize that they need glasses. And so they think everybody sees the way they do. A child in school, they think the reason they're struggling is because they're not as smart. Someone at work, they think they're just not as capable as their other colleagues. The reality is their eyes are not at the same clarity as these other people. Therefore, they can't keep up with them. And the statistics are there.
Yeah.
And so you shouldn't think about it as becoming dependent. You should think about it as using a tool. Are you dependent on that pen? Are you dependent on the clothes you wear that keep you warm when it's cold? You're not really dependent. You choose to wear them because you'd rather not be uncomfortable and you'd rather be as productive as possible. You wouldn't dig a hole with your hands. You'd use the right tools, and glasses are just another tool. So you don't become dependent. If you take them off, your eyes just go back to you seeing blurry, which you don't want, because now you know what HD looks like and you don't want to go back to blurry. And it's that simple.
All right. Pfizer, Bradley was also talking about glasses not really affecting your eyes in a certain way. But, you know, those of us who've grown up wearing glasses, of course, we hear parents don't want us to wear them because they make your eyes sunken. Is that a myth or is it actually something real?
No, that's a myth. Most parents just avoid their kids getting glasses early. I believe it's that fear. You have a fear that if my child starts using vision correction this early, the aspect of dependence come in. But the sunken part,
it doesn't work.
No.
And when you talk about vision correction, is there another option as opposed to just wearing glasses? Do we have surgeries that can come in now to help in vision correction or just correction in general in the eye?
Yes, when you talk about vision correction, you have a wide range. The surgery, which you said, laser, but the financial implication that comes with laser is a bit not reachable for our people. We also have the use of contact lenses. Also, the financial aspect of it is a bit difficult. So the main primarily way of correcting is spectacles. Yes.
All right. Bradley, you're talking about, you are giving us some of the symptoms, you know, of myopia when they start. And you talked about something, fatigue, you know. Now, how do I know that this is not just fatigue, this is not just headache, but I should actually get tested for myopia?
This is normally when you have fatigue and you start getting headaches, they're temporary. If they continue for a prolonged period of time, maybe more than a week, that's when you start to go, okay, maybe there's something wrong. That's where typically you would go to the doctor and the doctor would do some tests to find out, is there some kind of something going on with your brain, with your eyes, with your other environmental factors, allergies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And in that moment, they might go, okay, everything seems to be okay, therefore it could be your eyes. So that's how you know. So all of these are indicators. Together, if you reach out to us, we can send you all of the information around how you might know if someone needs glasses. If you have all of those, it's pretty likely you need glasses. If you have a few of those, you don't know until you actually go and see a specialist. And so going to the doctor is the best thing you can do. So they can eliminate other causes and then they will say, there's none of these, you might need glasses, go to the doctor to get your eyes tested properly.
I would love to give the dentist reference. You know, they say after every 3 months you have to go for a checkup. How about now the eye? Pfizer.
So for the eyes, we advise an annual checkup. For the adults, at least once a year. For the kids, especially the ones using correction, at least 6 months. Yes.
All right. Maybe you can also pick up from there.
Yeah, so there are other conditions which affect your eyes, like diabetes and hypertension. So for those people, we recommend every 6 months as well, because they need to make sure that they are keeping up with the progression of whatever ailments that they have. So these things can quite seriously affect your eyes, and usually you're required to have your sugars and your blood pressure under control when you go into an eye test, or at least they're aware that you have this condition so that they can factor in and advise accordingly on what next steps you need to take.
Bradley, what are we doing wrong or getting wrong in regards to our screen habits? And, you know, this is screen time, screen behavior in general. What are we doing wrong that is most likely affecting the quality of our eyes and maybe bringing about myopia?
So I don't think people will be very happy with this. But the World Health Organization recommends no screen time at all whatsoever for young children. Zero. Even if they're noisy, they're annoying you, you want quiet, you give them a piece of paper and a pen so they can draw something. You don't put them in front of the TV, you don't give them a screen. And they say that because typically the advice is to limit screen time to 8 hours a day almost. That is a social number. It's because they know if they say anything less, people wouldn't do it. The real number is 0 or less than 2 hours, depending on the age of the child. And so the reason being is because when you're young, that's when you're most susceptible to environmental factors. Your eyes are developing, your body is developing. That's where you can be manipulated by your environment in a way which speeds up the progression or activates the progression of myopia and other conditions. So they recommend no screen time whatsoever. And then for everybody else, it's about getting the balance of light properly. So if you're in a dark room, you shouldn't have your screen on full brightness. Your screen brightness should match your environment. So you shouldn't have too dark a screen and you shouldn't have too bright a screen. What I usually advise to make it easy for people is you go on the lowest, brightest setting that you can comfortably see. So if your screen is really bright and you can lower it by 70% and still see it, it means your screen was too bright. So that's the best way to look at it for the easy way. And that's what we recommend. And you limit screen time. Like Faiza said, the 20-20-20 rule. You take breaks, you look at the distance, you go outside, you enjoy the natural light, which is also beneficial to your eyes.
So the 20-20 rule, it's not just a wellness tip, but it's actually scientifically proven.
Again, it's social. It's scientific, but it's seen as the best way to get people to follow a process that benefits their eyes. The reality is we need to spend a lot more time outside, a lot less time on screens, but that doesn't match up with our lifestyle and the way we interact and the way we do our jobs. And so there's only so much we can limit screen time. So instead there's this method of taking breaks, which helps to your eyes to relax. And it's a way of, they often say, don't sit at your desk all day. Stand up and walk around and come back and sit down. It's the same thing. It's designed to give your body a time to relax, to stop you from getting back issues like you do with the desk. So it's a very similar method.
And you know, when we talk about people working 8 to 5, you know, most of us are really using screen a lot, you know. And we hear about blue blocker lights, you know. We are coming back with that, the blue blocker lights, because right now they're trending so much in the country. Everybody is using blue blocker lights. Let's take this very short break and then we come back with that particular conversation. We're talking about myopia and technology. Are our digital habits affecting our eyes? With Bradley Heslop and Faiza Saida from the Dot Glasses, Kenya.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's mind. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora.
All right, welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe. The conversation you're having this morning is myopia and technology. And the question you're asking as well is, are our digital habits hurting our eyes? We have Bradley Heslop, co-CEO of Dot Glass International, and Faiza Saida, an optometrist at Dot Glass. We were talking about blue blocker lights. Are they just marketing hype, or do they actually help when you're talking about people who use screen a lot? Faiza.
So when it comes to light protection, there are different types of coatings that protect you from light. There's coating that protects you from sunlight, we call it photochromatic. There's coating that protects you from artificial light, we call it anti-glare. Then the blue block comes in. So the gadgets that we use, they do emit blue light. So at the end of the day, you're exposed to using your gadgets a lot, you're exposed to the blue light. That's when the symptoms now come in. You tend to have headaches, and when we talk about headaches, we talk about temporal headaches, frontal headaches. As Bradley said, at the end of the day, your eyes become very tired. So the usual thing that most people say, by the end of the day, I tend to have tired eyes. I don't feel like I want to use my computer. I don't feel like I want to do anything. So those are some of the effects of the blue light. So yes, blue block does help. But for blue block, we do advise people who are mostly on there gadgets. Yes.
Bradley, I would want to also just bring in the same question to you. Can it directly lead to myopia, the frequent use of blue blocker lights, as compared to anti-glare, or which is better?
So the screen itself isn't what causes myopia. If you're watching a TV from the back of the room, it's not going to cause issues on your eyes. The issue is distance for myopia. It's all about, your eyes naturally focus in different distances. Our body is very good at efficiency. If you're not using something, it reduces how much effort your body puts into that thing. So if you're focusing only on near objects, then your distance vision starts to reduce. The thing with artificial light is the other issues that it can cause around eye strain, around affecting your sleep patterns, particularly blue light. As you can imagine, humans, we grew up in nature, the sky is blue. That's our connection. With the sky being blue, blue light means awake. So very often if people use their screens before bed, they can have bad sleep or they can struggle to get to sleep. So this is an example of how blue light can affect your life. So anti-glare and blue light, those are the lenses provided for artificial screens. For different things, anti-glare allows light to enter through the lens more effectively. It reduces the kind of glare which might cause issues with your vision. Whereas blue light blocks the blue light, which can cause those other issues with sleep patterns and overstrain on the eyes, etc.
Yeah. So which one do you recommend, anti-glare or blue blocker glasses for someone on screen a lot? Faiza?
From an eye care point of view, I would recommend if you can get both, because you can always get a combination.
Both in one glass?
It's very much possible,
okay.
Yes. So if you can get both, you can kill a bird with one stone.
Right. Now, are all screens equally damaging, or do we have those screens that pose bigger risks in terms of just causing myopia? Bradley?
Definitely every screen, there are different types of screens. And a lot of modern computers, they have filters built into them. So you can put eye comfort on most phones now. They have an eye comfort option, which reduces the blue light. There are also laptops which do the same. So different screens are now adapting to the fact that we're using them a lot more, and the manufacturers are putting in some safeguards. It's just most people aren't aware that those safeguards exist and they don't use them. So a lot of the time, especially if you're doing graphical work, when you manipulate the screen color, you can get into issues with your output. But for every other type of worker, having a slight yellow tint on your screen isn't really going to hamper your work. You just have to get used to it.
Yeah. So does it mean that the flicker rates also contribute to myopia? When you're talking about a graphic designer, web designer having to change these filters there, we have flickers there. Does it contribute to myopia?
So again, this is about the strain on your eyes. And the fact that you're doing near work is what can contribute to myopia. The fact that your eyes are under a lot of intense strain, there's a lot of artificial light, you're not interacting with nature as much. You're not interacting with natural light as much. So the flicker rate can contribute to maybe some issues with the kind of strain on your system. But that in and of itself, like, eyes are very complicated. There are a lot of factors that come into play. You want to have a good screen that has a very smooth image. The world doesn't flicker around us. Therefore, our eyes are not made for flickering. And it's the easiest way to think about it.
Yeah.
But of course, that in and of itself isn't going to cause a major problem. It's all the other factors. Just reducing your screen time, taking breaks, allowing your eyes to relax. For children, minimal, if not no screen time while they're very young. Allow their eyes to develop naturally, and then add artificial products when they're a bit older.
Faiza, when you talk about children, because Bradley has mentioned them a lot, we have online learning now. We also have 2-year-olds who are using just tablets, as Bradley puts it. So are we seeing myopia from the onset years, increasing in Kenya, for instance?
Yeah, with myopia, you'll notice that in the urban areas where kids are exposed to more gadgets, the prevalence is a bit high compared to the rural areas. Reason being, these kids start using these gadgets early enough. And of course, when you talk about gadgets, it's close close vision. So yes, the kind of lifestyle all these kids adopt and all this, it does cause an impact when it comes to the vision of these children. So as Bradley said, if we have that option of giving our kids no gadgets at all, that would be the best option.
Yeah.
But because the type of lifestyle we are adapting right now, we cannot really limit these kids from doing all these things. So just try and minimize as much as you can for the well-being of this child. Yes.
Because obviously we are in an era of technology, and if you're talking about removing tech from these kids at all, then we are going backwards. I don't know what you think about that, Bradley?
It's not going backwards. So what we often find with the way in which society has developed is we go very far in one direction, then we realize we've gone too far and we course correct. So at the moment, we're in a period of course correction. We've realized that technology is wonderful, it's great, it allows us to do so many things, but there's a time and a place. And it's the time and the place that is being calibrated now. We're realizing we're introducing these things too early. They don't need access to this technology when they're that young in order to become proficient later. When you can enter it into their lives when they're still young, but when they're older, and limit the amount of usage. If you think about how much time you put into becoming a musician, when you first play the guitar or singing, you're not doing it all day. You have a period of day, maybe an hour, maybe a couple of hours at most, where you're practicing that thing, and then you're tired, you need to take a break and absorb what you've learned. It's the same thing. So you don't have to do 24/7, 8 hours a day on a computer. You don't need that to become proficient at the usage of the technology. Minimal time allows you time to use it, whilst also developing other skills as well.
Still on the point of screens, now that you are on that point, Bradley, if you were to rank risks, you know, and I know 8 to 5ers would love this point, would we say OLED screens are better or worse than LCD screens? You're looking at each other. Bradley, you can go first.
I don't have the answer for that one. I don't imagine it would make a significant difference.
Faiza?
I believe screen is screen.
Screen is screen.
Screens are screens.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Because when it comes to myopia, the main aspect is the near aspect of it.
Screen time.
Yes,
It's the first time I've
behavior.
heard different types of screen issue, but no. Near is the issue. Whether you're using artificial lights, you're reading a book, although of course reading is learning, we want to encourage learning. I don't think you should be scared of wearing glasses and not read. It's very important to develop your whole self, and glasses don't have to be expensive. They really do not. They might be in some places, but they don't have to be. There are a lot of affordable options out there. But you should really control the types of near work that you're doing to maximize your benefit. And screens don't maximize your benefit as much as maybe reading a book or doing your classwork would. So still do those things in the right lighting conditions. Don't do those things in darkness. Don't use bad lighting. That can all affect the way in which your eyes are progressing.
Faiza, the 2020 rule, they're looking at 20 feet away, 20 seconds every 20 minutes. Does it apply to kids or adults as well?
Yeah, it does apply across the board because our eyes is straining. So that's the entire aspect about the 2020 rule, just to remove that strain from the eyes. And also just to add on to something Bradley mentioned towards the end, he spoke about progression. One of the reasons why we try to encourage controlling myopia is that myopia tends to progress. So the earlier you get to catch this condition, the better for these people. That's why Bradley was saying, get the kids checked and all that, because you can imagine a child gets diagnosed with, or maybe a child has myopia at an early stage, because also myopia is genetic. So you get myopia, one of your parents has myopia, there's a probability you're going to get myopia. So somebody gets, or a child gets myopia at an early stage, it's not managed well, the spectacles corrections are not given. You can imagine if it starts at a lower power, let's say at 5 years old, by the time this child gets to 25 years old, they'll be fully dependent, the spectacle correction will be high and all that. So it's also that aspect of get these things get these things diagnosed early and also get to manage them with vision correction to also slow down the progression. Yes.
Interesting. So what are the early signs to look out for before myopia gets severe, Bradley?
So you're looking for a child who is struggling to concentrate on things that are far away. So there's a few things you can look at. For example, when a child is walking, do they avoid objects very late? That's a sign that they're not seeing them until they're closer. Are they squinting to look at things? Are you talking to them about something over there? Maybe there's someone by a tree, maybe you're waving at your neighbor, but your child doesn't react. They don't know who you are responding to or who you are talking about. So these are some of the easier signs that you can look at. Of course, there could be other things going on. Children are oblivious to the world sometimes and they don't realize what's going on anyway. But so you can also just test your child. You can look in the distance, assuming you know you have good eyesight, and you can ask your child, can you see that? Can you see that? And you can see where their eyes may differ from yours. As long as you know you have good vision or you are wearing glasses that correct your vision, then you can do a quick check to at least to see if your child maybe has an issue. But you should always go to the specialist to go and get your eyes checked. So you can visit an optical shop, you can come and you can visit Dot Glasses and we can provide you with a check to see, can you actually see as you're supposed to see?
The outdoor, spending time outdoor, you know, to counteract spending time indoors. What's the science behind it, Pfizer? Because, you know, researchers say at least 40 minutes outdoor. So what's the science behind it?
The whole aspect is just to get your child to focus on different things. Because once a child is outside, they're curious. They'll move around, their eyes will scatter everywhere. So that's the whole aspect. And also, there's good light. When you're outside, there's also that aspect of being exposed to good light. So that's the whole sense behind it.
Bradley?
Yeah, so it's as Pfizer said, the main point of being outside is the natural light is good for you. Being in nature is good for you in a whole range of ways, even from the smells you smell to the things you see. All of it is positive for your mental and physical health. So when you're outside, your eyes are focusing across the whole range of distances. You're looking in the far distance, you're looking close, you're looking in the medium distance. So your eyes are constantly focusing and refocusing, and that's beneficial. All of that is good. If you imagine when you're trying to become good at sports, you're practicing a whole range of physical activity, you're drilling a whole range of tactics. It's not just physical, it's also mental. And so that whole broad range of things is beneficial to you.
So at a Glass or Dot Glass International, what do you recommend should be the exact outdoor time for children, even adults, you know? Because we are talking much about these kids, but see, adults here, we do experience myopia. Or it just starts from that early stage and there's no possibilities of it coming at an older age.
Once the onset of myopia is there, and you'll get diagnosed at an early stage, it does not mean now you'll get a 60-year-old without myopia. Once the onset is there, it's already there. So I would recommend as much time as you can. Yeah, as they said, we have to be realistic with the type of lifestyle we live right now. For example, the people who have an 8 to 5 job, we cannot tell you now, spend 4 hours outside. Your boss will fire you. So as much time as you can. Yes. Of course, maybe during the weekends, spend more time outside. The whole aspect is get to spend more time outside.
With glasses or without, now if you start wearing them?
Of course, if you wear them, let's say you're a high myope, you need your glasses to go about your day-to-day activities. So yes, with your vision correction, if you're using vision correction. If you do not use vision correction, without your vision correction, but spend as much time as you can outdoors. Of course, for the adults, but the main emphasis is for the children. Yes.
All right. Now, maybe supplements or foods that the parents can now incorporate, or just as adults eat. We hear about carrots, you know. Is it true that carrots help with eyesight?
So for the carrot thing, carrot does have keratin. which leads to vitamin A. So it does help with normal eyes, but it will not improve your vision just by eating carotene every day. So maybe you can just encourage a parent maybe or a person to use vitamin A just to improve their normal vision. But the use of carrots will not make you move from a myopic person to now good vision. Yes.
So some of the supplements are, we have vitamin A.
Vitamin A. For me, I recommend vitamin A. Yes.
Bradley?
Yeah, vitamin A is the key one. There are other vitamins that affect your general health, and your body is complex, and so everything kind of interacts with each other. So generally maintaining a good diet. Of course, like I said, there's things like hypertension and diabetes, which also affect your eyes. And those are very much diet controlled for the majority. Of course, there is also genetic diabetes as well, and hypertension. So it's important to make sure you're eating as healthily as possible, just generally anyway. But there are a lot of things which can affect your eyes just from you being unhealthy.
I was listening to a research yesterday, and the speaker was talking about the next generation coming after us. Of course, they will be worried more on how we were really dependent on glasses. And I know you don't like that term, dependence, Bradley, but some are dependent on it, you know. Is it really true that in the years to come, even as the WHO says that 2050, we might have half of the population myopic? Do you see a time where now we won't need these glasses at all? Pfizer, and then you can now take it, Bradley.
Okay, if science gets to
business
that level. So if science gets to that level, because you see the new technologies coming about, there's that aspect of laser, but also not everybody is a candidate for laser. Not everybody who's short-sighted is a candidate for laser. So maybe we might get to that point, but for now, we're still going to use our spectacles, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bradley?
Glasses have been around for 700 years. And they're relatively unchanged for a reason. They work. And they're very safe to use. And so, yes, there may come a time where other technologies have been invented which help us to reverse the need to wear glasses. And I can't speak to how that will go or what will cause it. Anything can happen with technology. Laser could become very cheap. They could invent some kind of permanent contact lens that you don't need to remove. But in reality, what's more likely to happen is that people get more comfortable seeing other people wear glasses. There are a lot of countries around the world where 70, 80% of people are wearing glasses. And therefore it's normal. And we even done research in Kenya to find out the social dynamics of wearing glasses. And we found that men in particular were very worried about how they might look in glasses. It was an aesthetic thing for them. And then we asked the women about what they thought about wearing glasses. They were fine. But they also said that they actually think that the guys would look more attractive wearing glasses. And so there's a disconnect there between what people thought others would think and what people actually thought. And so what we will see is more of that progressing, where people get more comfortable seeing people wear glasses. It's not seen as weird anymore, because there are a lot of people already who need glasses. It's just that they don't have access to glasses, and that's the problem. If they have access to glasses, we see more people wearing it, it becomes normalized. And that's just that's more likely to happen before technology comes in and eliminates the need for glasses.
Also, it's non-invasive.
It's non-invasive. It doesn't harm you. The eye test also doesn't harm you. There's some people who think an eye test is very invasive, people touching your eyes and removing things. But no, that doesn't happen. An eye test is you reading a chart, and you have to see if you can read the chart. It's that simple. And if you don't also have to read. There are other things for people who maybe don't read or are illiterate or don't speak the right language. There are other ways of doing that visual test. And then they give you a series of lenses which would allow you to see which lens is helping you to see better. So just like the lens I'm wearing now, they simply would change the lenses, and then you'll be able to see which lens is better or worse for that individual. That's the test. No touching of the eyeball. Glasses don't do anything to your eyes. They don't make your eyes sink back. There's nothing like that. All they're doing, it's like looking a magnifying glass. It just changes the way light moves. So it makes sure light is focusing on the right part of your eye for you to see clearly. That's all it's doing.
All right. Of course, as we come to the tail end of this conversation, you can now take us through what you as DotGlass do to just help in preventing I was about to say myopia progression.
Yeah, so DotGlass is a social enterprise. It means we're a mission-driven company, and our mission is to create easy access to affordable glasses in any community in the world that needs it. We're active in 8 countries now, and we ship orders globally. We manufacture products that make it easy and affordable to distribute glasses. So a lot of the issues of accessing glasses are in things like the number of frames that you need for different shapes and sizes of faces, and the number of different lenses you need for those types of conditions and the different types of lenses you may have, frames you may have. And so we simplified the whole system. So we provide an affordable, highly, highly durable, customizable frame. Our frames are assembled in less than 1 minute to perfectly fit anyone's face. So we don't have to worry about bulky stock. And that's how we bring the costs down. And so our glasses, they're available through our partner outlets, and they retail for starting from 700 to 1,000 shillings and then above, depending on which outlet you go to and where in the country you are. And so it doesn't sound so expensive anymore, does it?
700 to 1,000?
Yeah.
Or higher?
Or higher. And that is regardless of the lens power you need. They're all the same price. The only thing you pay for is the type of lens. If you want a premium type of lens, like photochromatic, bifocal, blue block, then those will be at a higher price. But again, regardless of the lens power, they're all the same price.
This one for 700 Kenyan shillings, does it have a lens?
Yes.
Frame plus lens. And you even get this nice pouch.
You are going to show us how you assemble.
Yeah, so the glasses are assembled in less than 1 minute. So it makes it very easy to do right now because I can show you exactly how they are done. So they come in these separated pieces. These are the bits that hold the lens. And then the segments are reduced based on where your eyes are. So this is where you can adjust for that. The temples then clip onto the frame, and the ear hooks slide in. So the ear hooks are fully adjustable, meaning our users, if they find the glasses are a bit too tight and causing pain behind the ears, or they keep falling off the face, then that can just be done. And then the lenses are already cut to the right size. So the lenses, they don't need to be machined. This is also one of the things that causes a lot of delays with you getting your glasses.
Okay.
They're already cut to the right size. So we just clip them into the frame. Just clip them in to the frame.
Voila.
Super fast. And every pair of glasses includes this microfiber pouch for cleaning the lenses. Then we like to show how durable they are. People always ask, at that price, how strong can they really be? And then, so I always challenge someone, would you do this with your glasses?
Strong. Strong as it can. All right, interesting. So where can we find DotGlass? For a moment, I was lost for words there. Yeah.
So the easiest way to find us is to go to our website or on our social media, and then you'll be able to find our contact number. You can call us, and then you'll be able to book an appointment.
Faiza, what's your final remarks as we end this conversation?
My final remarks is that eye care is quite important, as Bradley mentioned. Once before I get to the final remarks, it's important to note as DotGlasses, you're very keen on eye care. And when you talk about eye care, it moves across the entire spectrum. There's that aspect of vision correction, there's that aspect of the other conditions. So other than just dispensing lenses, we are very keen in ensuring that before we dispense lenses, these people's eye well-being is in the correct bracket that we require it to be. So my closing aspect is that at any point if you experience any of the symptoms that you have talked about, kindly take that initiative, go get your eyes checked. Right now, we have so many eye care practitioners who are experienced enough for you to have your eyes checked. And if at all you need any vision correction, do not hesitate to get them. As we said, right now we have affordable spectacles. And like before, you could spend 10K, 20K to get spectacles. Right now, as low as 700 shillings, you can get your vision correction, the quality of life that you're living can be improved, the whole financial aspect can be improved. So we do not really have an excuse right now of not accessing all this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back to whatever you were banging or on the table before we close this conversation. Does it only work with the plastic glasses, or it works also for the ones that are glass? I wear glasses. So does it work for them as well, or just plastic glasses?
So our glasses use polycarbonate, which is a highly, highly durable type of plastic. They use it in space agencies, they use it in automotive industry, and it's the same stuff that they use in things like riot shields. So the lenses, they don't break. And that's one of the benefits. Our glasses are designed for the way people live their lives. They're not mass produced to be as cheap as possible. We try and reduce the cost in other ways. And we make sure we bring the most durable, effective product that we can to the people. So our glasses and our frames are made out of highly durable plastic materials because they don't break. And so if we use glass, that's a high risk. You know, your glass can break, they can crack, they can also cause other risks associated with it. So very often in the industry, glass is avoided these days, and plastic is the primary because it's so much safer and easier.
So you're trying to tell me I should change my glasses?
That's your decision.
Your final remarks, Bradley.
So I think a lot of people are not used to hearing about eye care. So I'm very glad you've given this platform so people can learn about this issue because it is something which is progressing very fast. And clear vision doesn't have to be a pipe dream. Clear vision doesn't have to be scary. And so glasses are something which are new to a lot of people, but it's something that everybody will be getting used to very soon. And so my first thing to say to people is not to be scared of glasses, not to be worried about it showing that you might have some other kind of issues. It's not that case. Needing glasses is very natural. As we get older, we need glasses. The majority of us will need glasses as we age naturally. So at some point in your life, it's highly likely that you'll be wearing glasses. So don't be afraid of it. Just find the right provider where you can get glasses at an affordable price and where they can look after you through your journey and make sure that they can always provide you with your next pair.
All right.
And if people need to reach us, our phone number, which might be easier for some, is 0758 358 934.
Thank you so much, Bradley Heslop and Pfizer Sider from Dot Glass International for being here and for making time. All right, that's it for this particular conversation. Myopia and technology. Are our digital habits hurting our eyes? Yes, they are. They just confirmed it. So we take a very short break at this point, but when we come back, we'll be taking you to South Sea Estate at the College of Insurance right here in Nairobi, where the IEBC chairperson position interviews are currently ongoing. Stay with us. My name is Anne Odida. Good morning.